Hi, this is Karl with another Relax, Focus, Succeed video. Today I want to talk about balancing your focus on the long tail of big projects and the victories of milestones. Welcome to Relax, Focus, Succeed. I don't know about you, but I've written books and my experience is always the same. I think I'm done, right? I write a book and I get to the last part. I'm like, oh, it's done, it's done, it's done. Okay, great, beautiful. Well, then it has to be proofread and it has to be spell checked and then it needs to be reorganized a bit. And then when you think you're done, well, you have to send it to layout. And then there's problems there. And so you have to fix the problems. And then the layout is done. And that's awesome. Except now it has to be spell checked again and it has to be indexed and it has to be proofread. When you get all that done, you're like, great, I'm done. It's absolutely done. And then you have to design the cover and you have to make sure that the cover fits and looks good and the size is right. And then you're done. And then when you think you're done, you have to upload it to the printers and you have to make sure that it looks great. And then you have to have it printed. And so now you're done. You got a physical book, you got it in your hand. Now you need to take that, and you guessed it, you need to send it off to the proofreaders, right? So every single step of the process feels on one hand like, I'm moving towards the end, but there's this long tail. And on the other hand, there are these milestones. At some point, it's done. At some point, it is actually done. At some point, you push print and publish, and now the world can buy your book. The same is true with so many things. I'm a member of a nonprofit association that has been working for months and months and months and months and months to come up with a new management association. Great. And at every step, I feel like, oh, I'm really glad that we're there. And that's where the focus on the milestones really helps. When you finish a milestone, don't pass it up and say, now the real work begins, and focus on the long term. At least for a short period of time, take the win, right? Sit down and say, we have reached a milestone. I'm grateful for the milestone. Thank all the people who were involved in getting me to this point. Thank everybody who helped us make this happen, right? And then you can, enjoy a relaxed afternoon, have a cup of tea, maybe have a glass of beer, and then you can go back to focusing on the long tail. Some projects literally never end. They're cyclical, right? So, you have the beginning of the tax year, the middle of the tax year, the end of the tax year, then you got to file your taxes. By the time you file your taxes, you are well into the next tax year, right? So acknowledge that sort of thing. There are milestones that you can enjoy, have that glass of beer, and then focus on the job at hand. Many, many things in our life are like this. I actually have never had a baby. I know that's shocking, but I personally have never had a baby, but I liken the book process to having a baby. And every mother knows this. You get to this stage, and then you get to the next stage, and then you get to the next stage. At some point, there is a birth. At some point, the baby is one of us in the world enjoying the same fresh air and sunshine. And that's all great. But that is literally a milestone. It's a milestone that you certainly are going to celebrate. But then you begin that long tail, because that baby is now going to become a toddler and then a child, right? And work its way up to being, with luck, a high school graduate, a college graduate, somebody who has got their first job, somebody who's moved out of the house, somebody who has, put their stuff together and moved out of the house a second time. Eventually, they get their own house, and then they go on. But many, many things in life are like this. There's milestones, and there's the long tail. And both of those deserve a certain amount of attention. If you don't put any attention on the long tail, on the long-term goals, well, you're never going to achieve them. So they absolutely deserve your attention. But please reward yourself in the meantime. Don't think of it as drudgery. think of all of the major steps along the way as true milestones, as a way to say, we did it, we got this far, now let's take on the next step and make sure that we're as successful as possible. As with everything else in life, it's all about balancing the balance. For Relax, Focus, Succeed, this is Karl Palachuk, wishing you the best of luck in everything you do.